All right. Welcome to the second episode of Flipped Open House. Tonight we're going to talk about what your child will learn this year, and we'll also look at how the grades are taken in Mr. Layton's social studies classes, both sixth grade social studies and seventh grade social studies. One of the ways I want to show you kind of everything that we'll be covering is by using the online textbook. So sixth grade, you can see we start with early humans, which we've actually began covering that today. That's chapter 3. And we go all the way through the rise of Christianity. Seventh grade, we start with the decline of the Roman Empire, and we go all the way through the industrial political revolution time period. As eighth graders, they'll receive U.S. history. That's often a question that people want to know: when does U.S. history begin? As it is in the state of Tennessee, it is eighth grade and 11th grade. All right, in the classroom, your child has access to a classroom set of textbooks from McGraw-Hill. There's also access that students can gain at home online, but I'll be the first to tell you that a lot of what we'll be doing, most students can get done in the classroom. So, as we talk about what's going to be covered in each class, this would be an example of the seventh grade text, and you can see the decline of the Roman Empire. And I'm going to go ahead and let the list kind of play out for itself here so you can get an idea. Before the end of the school year, and really closer to the mid-April, we'll cover all 14 of these chapters. Some will be in a little bit more detail for 7th grade social studies. Some will move through a little bit quicker. Some are very detailed. For 6th grade social studies, you'll see the text. The cover of the text is featured with King Tut. Here's a look at some of the topics we'll be covering, starting with chapter 3, which we began this week, covering early humans. And as you can see, we go all the way to the rise of Christianity. That's kind of where they'll pick up next year as 7th graders, with the decline of the Roman Empire and the rise of Christianity. So now you've got a good idea of what we'll be studying. The next question that often comes up at open house is how's my child going to be graded? So we're going to look at that. All right, how will my student be graded in social studies? Applies for both 6th and 7th grade. Typically, in-class activities are going to be about 25 points. A lot of in-class activities are going to rely on students having information that they gain at home. We're going to talk about that. That's called a flipped lesson. They do their share at home to watch a short video. When they come to class, they're prepared. We're working on activities that typically by the end of class, they are ready to turn in and submit. 25 points for most quizzes. If we have a large test, it may get up towards 50 points, but that's not going to happen too often. That might be the summary of a chapter or the end of 2 or 3 chapters, so we can make sure students are on the right pace. 50 points for most projects that we work on. And 99.9% of the work that we do can, and in most cases by most students, will be completed in the classroom. So one of the other questions that comes up is, what about homework? How does that work in this class? What is a flipped lesson? We're going to talk a little bit about that in the next episode. And what is a flipped classroom? And I'm sure some of you have the question, why is my child's classroom being flipped? What does that mean? How does it benefit my child? We'll talk about that in the next episode, so make sure you're checking tomorrow on Skyward, and you'll be able to find episode 3, which is talking about the flipped lesson in the flipped classroom. Have a great day.